Hello and welcome to my Spa review for 2012. That was quite a stunning race, a really interesting, exciting race, non-stop action throughout. It wasn't just the start that was interesting, but actually the whole race itself. And yeah, the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the start of the race. I mean, I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan, so I guess I'll start with that. But the first thing we have to notice is Maldonado gets a false start, I think, and just speeds off. I don't know what he's up to, but he just gets a really quick start. So either he got a really good start, or he had a false start. It wasn't actually confirmed because he actually crashed before it was actually investigated. So that's quite interesting. But yeah, with the race starts, Lewis Hamilton sort of holds his position. He goes straight. Romain sort of quite a very aggressive move. Sharply turns to the right and sort of smacks Hamilton. I mean, when I said on Twitter, I think it was about 80-20%. I'm not even sure it's that now. I think it's 100%. I think it's about 100% Roman's fault. I just feel like he was just overly aggressive and too keen to make positions up. It was just a very clumsy challenge. And it seems to be happening a lot this season. He seems to have these little incidents that just are very clumsy, sort of perhaps shows his lack of experience in F1. I just feel like there's a lot of people that are Hamilton fanboys, and I'd say I like the way he drives. I see the problems with him, but I think he's a good driver and he's entertaining to watch. Roman's very inexperienced. I really like. He's obviously a clearly very fast driver, but we're still yet to see his full potential. I just feel like don't know. It's a bit disappointing, and hopefully he will just sort of try and hold back a bit and be a little bit less aggressive. And it was quite worrying because Alonso didn't move for quite a while. I think he was a bit shaken up because it was quite a sudden smash into the side of his car, and literally the car was like a metre away from hitting Alonso right in the face, and that would not have been good. I feel gutted for the Saubers, who had a great qualifying and they got pushed straight back, which is really just not great. I'd love to see Sauber do pretty well in this race. So yeah, it was quite annoying that we saw Alonso and Hamilton out the race. They could have made this race really interesting. We'll see. It's a very interesting start. Maldonado, I think, crashes right at the restart after the safety car. So there's quite a lot of rubble on the floor. But yeah, it's very disappointing to see that. So yeah, as soon as the accident happened, I was like, oh my god, Lewis just done some crazy crash. It's all Lewis's fault. And I thought, well, I'm going to wait for the replay. And I already went on Twitter and everyone's raging saying Lewis is shit. He shouldn't be driving. He's a terrible driver. And you watch the replay and it's completely different. It's barely even his fault at all. He couldn't go any more to the right. He's just going straight. You could barely see him in the mirror. He just swings across the track. I don't know what Roman's doing. Very aggressive. Really aggressive. No need for that at all. And crashes straight into him. Lewis always seems to get unlucky with the people he sort of faces. But again, he's very... he doesn't like giving way a lot as well. So he needs to... I think Lewis needs to perhaps notice the people around him a bit more and just try and be a little bit more aware. So I would still say it's 90, maybe 10. I keep changing because every time I see the replay, I'll go look more towards Lewis. But I need to sort of hold back because I do have strong emotions towards McLaren and Hamilton himself. So Barn had a very strong race. He had this. I think he had done one stop. Sorry if I miss things out or get things mixed up. It was quite a sort of hectic race. A lot of things happening. So yeah, Button had one stop. Managed to control his tyres pretty well. He pretty much controlled the whole race, which was good. I reckon Kimi or Hamilton before the end of the race was my predictions for the win. And Kimi done pretty well. But at the start, straight after the safety car, he did struggle for pace. And that definitely sort of pushed him back quite a bit, and he lost quite a lot of speed and motion. Motion? What does motion mean? I don't know why I said that. Hülkenberg had quite a good start as well. I think he got into second after the restart with all the motion with the crash. He had quite a good start, and he got a fourth position, which was really good for Force India. A great result for him. I think it was his highest performance ever in F1, which is a really good result for him. I always reckon he's got a lot of speed in him. He just needs to get a little bit more experience in the Force India car, and I'm sure he'll be here next year as well. Another good race it was a good race for Michael Schumacher, but the car just didn't perform. The tyres sort of gave way towards the end, and apparently he had to use a lot of the performance and grip, trying to overtake some of the Toro Rossos and things like that, and that what sort of lost in performance towards the end. And I forgot to mention the Kimi overtake was amazing on Eau Rouge. That was absolutely crazy to get past Michael Schumacher. I think it was the second time he had to overtake him, because Kimi done 2 stops. I think Michael was going for a 1 stop, but he done 2 in the end because his tyres just lost complete grip. So that's pretty crazy. That overtake was just amazing to watch. Probably one of the best overtakes of the year so far. Massa had a very strong 5th position. He had quite a strong sort of a performance in the car. I think he was a little bit slow at the start, but I think he went for a 2-stopper And yeah, we had a pretty good race, so that's pretty pleasing to see. I'd be glad to see Massa leave Ferrari, but hopefully he can bring some better performances before the end of the year and hopefully stay with Ferrari. Vettel's another one we have to mention. He started 10th, I think it was, so a really good performance to come up from 10th to 2nd. He had quite a lot of performance in the car, even though his DRS and gear ratio wasn't great for overtaking, and it did leave him quite vulnerable on the straights. But it definitely seemed to get the cars set up for the last sort of 2 sectors and around the corners, and it seemed to perform pretty well. I mean, for someone who apparently isn't very good at overtaking, Vettel done a pretty good job. I wouldn't say Vettel's one of my favourite drivers to watch, but he's definitely done pretty well here. Obviously, he used the help of the DRS, and obviously his performance in the car was pretty good today as well. The Toro Rossos performed extremely well today. Also, with all the commotion of the start, obviously there's a few cars that would perhaps be running at the front were out, so that was quite good for them. And they managed to get 2 point positions in 8th and 9th. That was really good for them. Obviously, a very horrible season so far, and they'll be pleased to sort of move up the grid a bit and try and get a few more points, and hopefully sort of jump ahead in the standings a bit. So I already mentioned Maldonado in the Williams crashed out after the restart, but Senna had quite a good race. He was in a strong point position, but then he sort of all of a sudden lost grip and he started to struggle, so he had to pit as well. Very similar to sort of Michael Schumacher. I forgot to say Michael Schumacher actually lost his 6th gear. I think the rest lost his curves. I think he was. I'm not 100% on that, but yeah, that's pretty. Obviously, quite an important part of the car, 6th gear and curves. But yeah, that was pretty annoying for them. I think the rest, even though he had no curves, managed to get a points position in 10th place with 1 point, so that's a good result for him after quite a hectic race, very up and down the order. People who stopped for 2 stops sort of always had to go back, overtake. Kimi Räikkönen was probably the one which had to do this the most. He went back like twice and had to sort of overtake the same cars. But obviously he had the performance of new grip, and I think it worked a little bit in his favour in the end. Obviously with the advantage that Button had with 1 stop, he was able to control his pace and not push and have other cars in front, so that's why I think the 1 stop actually worked for Button. But yeah, it's quite an amazing, crazy race. I know a lot of people will be talking about the start and not much else, but I really hope you enjoyed the race review. Make sure you check out the F1 show, and obviously subscribe to this channel, and check out my main channel as well, where I cover loads of new games such as Walking Dead and stuff like that. So thanks for watching, press that like button, subscribe, and come back soon.